Oh.
Okay.
It
I love the little voice that comes on. That's great.
is. It's pretty cool.
Um, so Bullet Train. So
Um,
my initial impression of it was I thought it was going to be like an action movie that had like martial arts mixed in and like crazy special effects. And I had heard it was like Quentin Tarantino-esque, but I actually
uh,
thought it was better as like a comedy. Like the
it's
comedy
a
had me in stitches. The action was it was good, but the
yeah.
comedy is what I really loved about it.
To me, yeah, 100%. It was a comedy first, in my opinion. Sort of action. I mean, action second, I guess, sort of.
Right.
But definitely, yeah, 80% comedy. 15% action and 5% I don't know, deep plot, I guess, if you call
Yeah.
any of that deep. I I don't know, but yeah, it's been a little bit since I saw it, and I saw it in pieces. I didn't watch it like from one thing to the very end. I didn't like the first like 10-15 minutes so much.
Me neither.
I was a little bored, and I was confused very much where they were going with it, and it seemed like there was going to be some like deep yakuza something or whatever going down, and I don't really felt that it did a good beginning part of striking the tone
No,
of.
the opening scene was a terrible choice. Like the dad looking at his son in the hospital room or whatever, and then the grandfather like berating the dad. I was like, that was like so opposite of the rest of the movie.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad you thought that. So
Yeah.
right when I gotta say, I watched the first 10 minutes, if that,
Yeah.
and then I stopped and I was like, oh boy, what movie did I pick for me and Eric to watch? And I
Right.
didn't watch it again for another, I don't know, week. And then I
Right.
watched like another 25 minutes. He's going to the locker and he's talking about how he's bad luck, and you see the thing. So I was like, okay, that's more of like an intro. Like it kind of went, and then I was like not picking up the gun, which it's like, why are you not picking up the fucking gun?
Right.
It's so silly for the type of work this guy does, but he doesn't want to hurt anybody, which I kind of like that. And so, yeah, I mean, it really started picking up obviously once they got. I felt it still wasn't super picked up then. I felt it picked up after you saw Tangerine and what was the other guy? Lemon or
Lemon.
Tangerine?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tangerine and Lemon a little bit after that, and definitely picked up to me after the fight with the wolf, or was it the wolf or
Yeah,
the?
the
I think it
wolf.
was the.
What the guy shows up or whatever, and like Brad Pitt's character, Ladybug, can't figure out what the hell's going on, and he defends himself with the briefcase, and then he throws the knife, the wolf, and it bounces off the briefcase and hits him in the heart. And I was
Oh my
like,
god.
all right, I think I know what this movie's trying to do now.
That really started to crack. That
Yeah,
started to crack me up, and I loved how I believe it was Tangerine. Is Tangerine the black guy? Tangerine, I thought was the black guy,
I
right?
think so.
I'm not sure, one of the two, Lemon or Tangerine, but I think it was Tangerine. And when Tangerine started being like, "Oh, I can pick people," and he pulls out, I got like at first I thought it was like because of the tone of the movie, it didn't make it sense that it was like really a comedy so
Right.
much. So when he initially picks up the first sticker and puts it on the guy's forehead, the guy that like got poisoned or whatever, I was like, are they trying to be like overly dark with like, oh, I can see people through people and stuff? But as that kept on progressing, it started cracking me up more and more. This guy with his stupid fucking stickers, like posters.
I thought that was like a parody of like if you've ever seen a lot of like these thrillers, like action movies, like the gang, there's always like this one gangster who's like obsessed with something that's totally random. And I thought that the Thomas the Train was like kind of making fun of that a little bit.
I I think I agree.
I
That makes sense. I get that. I definitely get. I liked that. To me, it was really really fun. I thought the cinematography, and the cinematography was good. The fight scenes, I hate when I watch fight scenes and they're a blurry freaking mess. You can't make out anything
right.
that's going on. I felt all the fight scenes on here added to the hilarity because you're able to see what's going on. It wasn't a blurry mess. Like you were saying, he throws the knife and it ricochets and stabs him in the heart. I mean, that was
That was
pretty
cool.
freaking that was pretty freaking hilarious. My favorite fight scene where I was dying laughing was where the lady, like they're fighting, then the lady comes on in with the snacks and stuff, and Brad Pitt convinces the other guy to buy him a water, and he's just chilling there. They're just talking. He drinks the rest of the water, and then he throws the fucking water bottle at him. That
Which you kind of
cracked.
saw coming, but it was still pretty funny.
Yeah, you did, but something about it, I don't know. It cracked me up. It cracked me up. I love that. I love that.
It reminded me a little bit of like, did you ever watch Get Smart?
Oh,
Like just
did? Oh, yeah.
some of the stupidity of it was like kind of poking fun at like the spy genre and stuff like that. I just thought that part was really cool. But if you went in expecting something serious, I could tell that you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Absolutely.
And a lot of the critics like bashed the movie because they were like, this doesn't make any sense. Like the briefcase doesn't matter. But like, I think that's the point.
Yeah, the briefcase. I mean, all the briefcase was a bomb. And it was, you're right, like at the end, it was like this maniacal plan to have them all killed. It was like the most
It
ridiculous.
didn't make any sense.
It made no sense. It made no
Yeah.
sense. And the one girl that was, with the fake crying, I mean, she cracked me up sometimes too, a little bit, not so much, but I loved how the other guys like, oh, everybody needs to go to therapy. You need to you need to make it to therapy.
Yeah.
Good. It
Um,
was,
Overall, I would say it was really good. The one thing, like the last 20 minutes or so were insane, and the movie literally goes off the rails. And I can't decide if I liked the ending or not. Like part of me was like, wow, that was kind of like cartoonish, but I guess that's kind of the point. Like the train literally goes off the rails, and like no one is there in this village until like after the fight scene, and then all of a sudden all the ambulances show up and everything. So that was kind of goofy to me. So I kind of am tempted to like mark it down for that, but at the same time, like again, I think that's what they were going for here.
yeah, I think that like you were saying with the making fun of the other movies, I cannot tell you how many movies I've seen in my life. I can't think of many off the top of my head right this second, but where the it would make sense that other people would be there sooner, and it's only until the bad guy is dead and all
Right.
the thing is, and then they show up. I'm thinking of Training Day, particularly after like their midway, like all the cops always show up afterwards. There's always a reason
Right.
afterwards, but it's never during and I mean, it always sort of works. And this one, though, they didn't even try. They were just like, we'll just have them come. There's no reason,
Right.
you know. The one I did like how after the credits, you see how the van was, or the truck was stolen, and how she gets hit by the truck.
I
Uh,
saw that. I almost missed that, but then I went on and I was reading like reviews and I happened to catch like, oh, you got to watch the credits. So then I went back and I did see that. And that made so much more sense. That made me so happy.
yeah, because it's they actually, yeah. Usually those sort of things are just like, oh, I guess he was lucky again, but it tied in. It tied. You know what? I think after saying that, what I think what could have even been a little funnier is if I don't know if they'd actually be able to do it, but a lot of his other scenes where he just miraculously like they die or he gets lucky or whatever, they like go back in the credits and show how some ridiculous reason of how he got lucky,
Right.
that I wasn't like aware of or something. That would be, I think that'd be cool. And I
They
loved
were
how it was,
obsessed with luck in this movie. Like, holy smokes. Like, it came up like maybe 15, 20 times.
yeah, it was all about fate and luck. And I, I don't know how I feel about that. Cause like, I feel that's not a funny trope. And I feel like they were trying to make it serious and funny, but it
Right.
wasn't. I don't know. I don't. It kind of worked out. I did love the scene where the one guy was like, "Let me tell you a story." He's like, "I really don't want to hear a story." No, no, no. I think it pertains to your life.
That
Yeah,
was
no, no.
definitely a trope.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked that. But lots of times though with the luck, like sometimes it worked out, but if you get the going with fate and calling them Ladybug, and I don't know, it's I don't
When
know.
it connected, it connected. But there were times where I was kind of like, huh? Like, for example, I like the character of the Scorpion. You know, that was the character that came in with like that had the venom that could kill you in 30 seconds. And she
Mhm.
was there the whole time hiding in the costume, the anime costume. And I
Yes.
knew that that character was going to be something, but I didn't realize that it was going to be this assassin. But it seemed like she kind of came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, by the time you realize what she was there for, like she was dead. So I was kind of like, there was some instances like where it didn't fully connect for me, but when it did, like it paid off.
Yeah, I was right there with you the whole time, even right from the beginning when Brad Pitt's trying to go past the big anime, whatever, kitty cat, whatever that thing was. I was like, there's somebody important in that costume,
Sure.
like instantly. And I mean, I guess they did a good job of kind of setting you up to realize, especially when at one point, I think there was a second point where like the one's like trying to like push the person away, and then the person just punches them in the face, And I was like, yeah, that person in that cat costume definitely has
Right.
something more there, And so, it's pretty good. I mean, was it a fantastic movie? No, but was it entertaining? I was entertained. I was entertained.
Oh yeah. The second half, I couldn't turn away from it. There were points though where I was like, this movie's a little too long. Like it was 2 hours and 10 minutes or something, and I was like,
Yes.
you could have trimmed like 15 minutes, and I don't think they would have lost anything. So there was the point that like the first 10 minutes of movie was not great. And then there was the point like after all the pedestrians had left the train, but before the final fight scene, where it kind of dragged for me a lot.
Yes.
But other than those two sections, it went really well.
Yeah. I think I would have to agree with you. I just didn't watch the movie like I watch a normal movie. I didn't sit down from beginning to end. I literally sat, watched the first 5, 10 minutes, and was like, oh God. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to tell Eric to switch another movie. I picked this one for F's
No, you're
sake.
fine.
So I was like, all right. So, and then I stopped for, I don't know, a full week maybe, watched another 30, was like, this is getting a lot better. But I watched it in 30-minute increments,
Yeah.
literally, maybe 45, 30-minute, 45 minutes here. Yeah. And that was exceptionally enjoyable, actually, after the first 10. But I think if I did watch that straight, it would feel a little bit long.
It was a lot.
Watching
It
it
would
in
have
the
been
30.
good as like a mini series with like 30-minute episodes, like 4 30-minute episodes or something. It's kind of funny you say that because I was thinking that to myself. Like there was obvious like stopping points where you had like high suspense and you wanted to know what happened next, that they could have
Yeah.
broken it up and turned it into a mini series and it would have been really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I watched it. It worked out really well that way. And
Nice.
it wasn't deep enough where it was like really critical that I
Right.
keep the thing going from beginning to end, not missing the nuance or whatever. you know. So yeah, man.
One of my favorite parts of the movie, the guy who played the White Death, like his character is cliche, but like the final fight scene was like comic gold. Can we just talk about do not call me bro? I was like, this whole scene is ridiculous. And then he was like, Carver, the Carver, I paid for Carver. Where's Carver? I was like, this is pure comic gold. Not very exciting, but funny.
Yeah, I liked I liked I liked the gun that she had where he
That was
shoots
cool.
himself in the head. I love the cinematography of the Russian roulette,
Right.
doing that with the gun, and then him and then himself, because he doesn't care about his life, I guess, or he's so badass or the luck or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess that plays into the luck aspect of the fate
I
of
guess so.
the but
So what would you give it from a scale from 1 to 10? The big question.
7.5. I give it a 7.5. I don't give it an 8. It's not an 8, but it was entertaining. I thought it was entertaining throughout the whole thing. I wasn't, or not the first 10 minutes, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was basic. It wasn't didn't blow my mind by any
Right.
stretch of the imagination, but I was entertained, and that to me is one of the most important things with movies to me. Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm entertained, I'm happy. So yeah, I'd rather have a movie that's entertaining and not deep versus a movie that's deep but so fucking boring that I don't like. I just don't care about the deepness.
Right. Yeah, I'm right
So
there with you. I'll round it up to an 8 out of 10. Just a couple of flaws, but I don't know. When grading this movie is really hard for me because obviously it's not a great movie.
yeah,
It's not an artsy movie. I don't think people unfortunately I don't think it's going to be well remembered because this was a theatrical release, and in the modern day, man, like movies are in and out of theaters and people don't remember them that well like a year later. So I
yeah.
don't think it's going to be very memorable, but for what it was trying to do, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think it succeeded. It really was Quentin Tarantino-esque though. I don't know if that was like a plus or a minus, but I don't know. It was fun. I agree with you. Good fun movie.
Yeah, I would say that the cinematography of it, everything was extra, and the colors were extra. Everything was, I don't know, kind of surreal and like a hyper, I don't know, thing. I guess it's hard for me to describe it. Not cyberpunk-esque, but
Yeah.
sort of with the lighting and everything a little bit, I guess. But yeah, it was good. It was good. What's the next one you want to see?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was trying to do some preliminary research yesterday and today. I can't think of anything yet. Well, here, this was a good recording. Let me stop the recording.